Welcome to the Smash Masters podcast, hosted by Stefan Eschi and Nick Priest. This is where we dig into the auto body collision repair field and talk quality repair methods and how the industry is always changing. Buckle up, it gon' get bumpy.
What up?
Hey!
Again, another background for me.
Yeah, that's all right. you just moved right around.
I thought that since Andy said, hey, you know, he's looking at the side camera view, I thought, well, I'll just change it this time, you know, just for him, just this once.
Oh, because you wanted to be looking right at the camera.
Yeah, and I got this line that comes down. I wanted that to be included in there.
Well, speak of the devil.
Speaking of Andy, what up, Andy?
Cutting in the Ravens game. Did they interrupt your regularly scheduled program to put Smash Masters on your TV? That'd be pretty cool, I'd have to say. Thanks for choosing to move over from the Ravens game there, Andy. Appreciate it.
Excellent. I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, but there's David, Janelle, Josh.
Yeah, they're all coming in.
Nick front and center. Everybody. Yeah, he took Andy's thing to heart for sure.
Yeah,
I'm still a little bit off. I'm always going to be a little bit off center, or at least while I'm in this room. If I move into the other room, it might change. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what up? What is going on, Mr. Martin?
What's going on, Dent Remover? James Bernard. Nice to see everybody. So, what's been going on this week there, Nick?
Man, I've had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah?
A bunch of stuff, yeah. Yeah, in Colorado now doing some work.
Nice.
Getting set up for that. Drove a long way, and it's been a trip. And what was I was doing what? I was doing hail work about what? 30 minutes ago?
Daniel. Butt smashers. That's good.
Alex.
What's up, Alex? Got Alan.
What's up?
Everybody coming in. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty normal week for me. I did have on Friday. I had a acorn damage claim for my PDR business. That's the Northeast hail.
Yeah.
That's what we got up here. And we like that because they make little dents. Very little dents.
Yeah, right.
It's mile high. Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's something different.
What's up, Francisco? Dent Craft. That's got to be Don.
What's going on?
What's up, man?
Glad to see everybody stopping in and, you know, saying hey, if nothing else, man. We appreciate that.
Yeah, this is it's already a bunch of comments. It's pretty cool. Only a few minutes in. I have to say, guys, we're only on episode 32. And we're already well over like 700 likes and follows if you add all of our platforms together. I mean, that's insane. That's really good. So,
it's super cool. What are we doing? About a little over 6 months now? 8 months? 6 months?
I don't know months wise, but I know we're 32 episodes in. Yeah. It's very cool, and we appreciate all the support. You guys coming in, commenting, liking, following, blah 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 blah. So, Alex. Yeah. Our core followers show up every week.
Thanks, Janelle, for letting everybody know.
You put the comment up on the screen. You could have totally ignored it. I would have left it in the back. Okay. I would have left it in the back. So everybody wish Nick a happy birthday because it was his birthday this week. And this is for real. This isn't a joke like we say wish Andy Patrick a happy birthday. It really was Nick's birthday.
I'm still gonna wish Andy a happy birthday every Monday, just for him.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's fine. So
yeah,
there we go. All these happy birthdays coming in now are for
yeah,
you and Andy Patrick.
yeah. Andy, mostly Andy. All
Especially
right.
Andy's. There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Oh man. Well, I
But
appreciate
anyway,
that, guys.
yeah. Well, we love you, Nick, whether you like it or not.
I appreciate.
Well, anyway, we got a nice show for you. We contacted well-known PDR tech from down in Florida, Mr. Bobby Z. Let's bring him on out here. There he is. Oh,
Bobby
I got
Z in
him
the house.
muted. There, now he's not muted.
Now,
How you
there
What's
he
up,
is.
doing?
guys? What's up, fellas? How you doing? How you doing? Happy birthday, Nick, by the way.
Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
thank you for bringing me here. I really appreciate it. It's a great privilege, actually.
Oh,
Your show is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I will help promote it from here on out.
Excellent. Excellent.
we
Excellent.
appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, it's I think it was Keith Cosentino came on and he said, honestly, having a podcast is like a cheat code, to networking and meeting people and just moving your way up. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been very cool, and now we get to talk to Bobby Z in the house.
Bobby Z in the
Right.
house.
Andy
There
said
we
turn
go.
Hi,
your
guys.
phone
Everybody,
sideways.
Andy, Martin. It's nice to see Martin here. That's really good. Nice to have everybody here. Thanks for all your comments, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, let's get this show going, guys.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you are a mobile PDR business owner.
I am a mobile PDR slash. I do some side stuff too on top of PDR as well.
That's right. Did know that.
Yes.
Okay.
So what got you started with PDR? Like, what made you decide to start learning? Like, what and how did you do that?
Well, I kind of got the bug with auto body actually at first in Miami when I was a kid, and I've always done a lot of spot painting,
Okay.
and I used to, work for my uncle's body shop for a while in Pittsburgh for a little bit, but then I actually decided to try to find something else, something a little bit more modern, which was PDR. And I said, you know what, I think I'm going to learn this, and I did. So I'm a self-taught PDR. Nobody taught me anything except for
Mhm.
some of the videos and so forth that I've
Cool.
trained. But the best way that I've learned, I think it was in 2017. I actually went to people's cars and I told them, I said, I'm a tech in training. I'm training myself, and I asked them to sign a form if I could work on their car that has a dent in it. And I told them they don't have to pay nothing, but if they want to give me a tip at the end, they're more than welcome to. So I did that for about a year, and I came
Wow.
across, I had some issues, of course, like everybody would.
Yeah.
But I was persistent. I was like, I'm going to learn this. I am going to learn it. So day and night, I just watched videos, and I just learned. I went online. I did some online courses and so forth. But then I said to myself, you know what? The best way to teach yourself honestly is just go out and do it. You know,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
I learned a lot more. Way a lot more, because if I made the mistakes, it was me. And I would have to
Mhm.
correct them. So it was definitely a learning experience. And then I just got better and better and better, and you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. So
Yeah.
and that's where I'm at now. Now I'm not perfect yet. I'm still trying to do a few things here and there.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Just
will I
just
become a
refining
master?
skills. Yeah.
Right. Will I become a master tech? Yes, I will eventually.
There you go.
Nice.
Um,
That's the right
Well,
attitude to have.
yeah, that's a good attitude. But you mentioned we talk about collision on here as well. So, um,
mhm.
tell us a little bit about some of that. I mean, how many years were you there? I mean, what did you do? Did you
Well, when I was in high
what?
school, yeah, when I was in high school, I used to go to my uncle's body shop, after school,
Yeah.
and I would just sit there and watch these guys because I was just really intrigued of what they were
Mm-hmm.
doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot more about the painting aspect opposed to the dents, you know.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Um, so that's why I got into doing my, spot repairs. I still do them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll in my videos I'll tell them if it's PDR or if it's a spot paint. I don't have no reason to lie or anything I mean, so I just go out there and I do what I got to do. I stay strong, positive, and always my thing about it is always try to take good criticism from everyone. You know, there's a difference between criticism and then somebody's trying to badmouth you. You know what I mean? There's a
Sure.
big
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
You know, and there's some guys that are but then there's some that are fantastic, like Don Martin, Jake, Kelly, Bryce Kelly,
Hmm.
Alan, a very great guy, Alan from PDR Beginners. I'm sure you know him.
Hmm.
I worked with him a few times. Great guy, he is down to earth, and he's actually been there for me many times. So thanks again, Alan, if you're out there. So yeah, and I just been doing this since I love it. It's in my passion. Do I see myself doing anything else? No, I do not.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Um, but I always try
that's awesome.
to. I'm very compassionate with others as well. If somebody needs help, I'll be the first one there to help them.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to be like, oh, forget it. No way. You're in the same business. No, no, I'm not like that at all.
Yep.
You know, I will always be there for my fellow technician. Always.
That's
Awesome.
something
Awesome.
that really drew me to the PDR. Yeah, I call it a family, honestly. I
Yeah.
mean, it's an industry, but I mean, everyone's so supportive and
Right.
helpful. Most of everyone.
Most. Yeah. Most.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get the few bad apples and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
but
And there's a
when
few that are kind of, like I'll put a
sure,
video out and, they won't even comment. I don't care about that. But, anyways, but some do, and those are the ones
Mhm.
that I want to engage with.
Yeah.
yeah,
You'll find your
Like you
crowd,
said,
your niche, your
yeah,
your
not the bad
people.
apples.
Yeah. You'll find them. But yeah, yeah. Like, so what? So you get into collision, you gravitate towards paint versus body work, but yet you want to do PDR. What made you like want to like? What did you like about painting that made you
I
lean
like
that
because
direction?
it's because painting is the final product.
Yeah. Hmm.
And a lot of my clients, they come to me because not only do they have a dent, but their paint is destroyed, you know?
Yeah.
And so I offer them, I can say, we can fix this. They say, oh, but it's all ripped up and this. And I go, don't worry about it. I'll
Hmm.
take care of it. It's going to look good. I tell them it's a smart repair, and I'm honest with them. I tell them that it's not going to be like driven off the showroom floor, but we strive for that.
Yeah.
And they're cool with that. So, um, have I messed up? Yeah, I've messed up, but I've learned from it. There's no success without failure. And you're
Hmm.
not going to survive, and you're not going to have any success without failing first. You
hmm,
know,
Yeah.
even Bryce Kelly said that. You're not. You got to fail many times before you can
Oh
succeed.
yeah. We've talked about that plenty of times as well on here, and that's part of body work and how just how you get better in this trade. Honestly,
Yeah,
it takes a lot of those lessons. We call them like bought lessons and stuff like that. But
right. But I'm
whether
out
you're
there. If
doing
somebody, no, I was gonna say
yeah.
if somebody's trying to learn PDR,
Mhm.
I will tell them what I know. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to like, oh no, you better get this, you better get that. No, I'll tell you.
hmm,
There's nothing to hide.
Yeah.
They're gonna learn it anyways. I did.
right,
you know,
right.
so it just depends on if you have the passion or if you don't.
Yeah.
That's what it has. Because there's a
You got to
lot of
stick
guys
with
that
it.
will start the business and then they quit after so times.
Hmm.
You
Right.
know, but don't ever quit, ever. Just keep going.
It
Yeah.
was amazing to me how much harder it is to learn running the business aspect versus just learning PDR. Because I feel like the learning PDR was hard as hell, and I'm still nowhere near the learnt stage. I got a lot more to learn, but running a business, it's a lot harder for me to learn.
Well, yeah, we,
Mhm.
we do. I mean, we're all going to still learn. Even the top master dent guys, they're still learning things.
Hmm.
There's probably things I can show them. that would help
Right.
them, you know.
Right.
And there's things that they can show me that's going to help me, you know. So it's a a love back and forth basically. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
but the
But
hardest thing for me running my business, I'll be honest with you, is scheduling them.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is an issue because being a mobile tech, as you know, when it starts to rain, you have to reschedule. You know,
Right.
because I will not sit out there in the rain. I'm not going to be working and getting my tools all wet and my let any of I can't.
Right.
You know, even when you have a tent, the tent blows everywhere. I've been there, done that. I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
So basically, you have to reschedule, but that's a pain because then you got to try to find a spot for them, and they don't like that. You know, like what? I just why this and that. And I'm sorry, sir, but we have to put you over here now. We had an issue with the weather, but I always put that in my contract. I said
Yeah.
if there's an issue with the weather, we have to reschedule. You know, and that's another thing too with the business part. Make sure that everything that you want in there is in there. You know,
Right.
like for instance, I always get a deposit. Always get a deposit. I wouldn't, I will always ask for a $200 deposit. Which is also a service fee. If something happens when I'm doing the dents, God, whatever happens, like it doesn't come out correctly, whatever, I'll tell them you don't owe anything else, just the service fee,
Right.
and the deposit. And they're like, oh, okay, So they have a peace of mind when I tell them that,
Yeah.
And
Okay.
because if it doesn't come out the way they like it, which it does, it comes out nice. But sometimes it doesn't. I think
Oh, sure.
I think I had 2 times since I've been in business. What, 3 years? Over 3 years now, and I've had only 2 complications.
Okay.
So, they as long as you're upfront with them and you tell your client the truth, because it's about your client. It's not about other technicians.
Right.
Okay, it's about your clients on how they want things. If you want to give them 2 different prices, which some do, they say, well, we got the 85-90% range, and you give them that price, or they'll say, if you want perfect, then there's a different price,
Mm-hmm.
because that last, 10-15% of working on the car takes hours,
Right.
Yeah.
so you can give them that option as well. You could tell them we have an 85-90%, and they're like, oh, how much is that? And then you give them that price, and then
Right.
sometimes they like that. They're like, yeah, I'm cool with that because it's coming out of their pocket. A lot of them don't pay the insurance.
Right.
Yeah, I do take insurance, but if they do the insurance, then I'm going to have to do the perfect, so
Yeah, for sure. It's I mean, that's a nice thing to offer your customers. I mean, I've done the same, and I actually really like Gene Fetty's protractor close. I don't know if you've heard that one. But you give them pretty much the option of you stand and you look directly at the dent, and here's the price for it to look good from this angle. And then you step a little to the side and you go, here's the price for this angle. And the more you get down the side of the vehicle, the more higher the price gets.
Yeah.
So I like that. And I've only used it a few times. But it probably saved the jobs for me. Hey, there's Gene right there in the comments.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jay.
So I've used it a few times, and in both times the people were looking for make it better repair. They didn't want it perfect, and they said, no, just make it so that when you're looking dead on, it looks good. And I said, no
Right.
problem.
Just like what Martin says here, I always tell them, we'll do it because you never know what can happen in the repair. You'll never know. So you always give them like, what's that saying? You always talk down before you can give them the best,
Mm-hmm.
So you say, oh, I can probably give you 85-90%, whatever. And they're like, well, okay. And then it comes out perfect. And you're like, well, to us, it's not perfect, but in their eyes, it's perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
We might
Right.
see like a little tiny little thing, and they're like, it's fantastic, so.
Under promise and over deliver. I totally agree
Right.
with that.
Exactly. Actually, Gene Fetty's videos are really good too. I mean, he has I actually learned a lot off of his videos too with glue pulling. So he's like the glue pulling master.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely is.
since you brought it up, if anybody wants to go learn at AAI, right there's a discount code 15% off, smash 15. GPRmasterclass.com is my favorite online glue pulling course there is. And he's got more than just that GPR Masterclass. He's got cold glue. He's got other courses on there, and there's more coming. So
Yeah, Jan.
Absolutely.
If you're in the area in March, I'll be up in Pittsburgh. in March to go
Oh,
see some of my family. So I'll come by and say hi.
There you go. There you go. Speaking of training in general, I gotta give him a little plug. Dent Slayer just released online PDR training.
mm-hmm.
Oh,
Matt
really? Wow.
and James put together a little video series on it, and I can't wait to check it out. Literally was just announced, so that's pretty cool. I mean, it's I learned from realworldpdr.com and amongst a bunch of YouTube videos from everybody.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
I did
me
some
too.
in-person training with David White here in Connecticut. But the online training is a good option for a lot of people because most people don't know if they're really going to like it or not. So you
Yeah.
just make that small investment for the online training and get
Which,
there.
which is
See
true
what you
because I
can come
did
up
speak
with.
to another guy that paid like 10 grand or something like that, and for training, and he doesn't even do it anymore. So,
Well,
but
that's generally what in-person training costs.
yeah.
It's about that price range. So,
Well, for me, I probably would have done that, but at the time I was taking care of my sick mother at the time. As actually, Andy knows about this because I was at a convention when she passed away. But
Mm.
and Andy was there. But so I just couldn't afford it, you know. So I
Yeah.
just kept on learning kept on learning myself. It just takes a little longer. It will take a little longer to understand it. But I watched everything from um, learning PDR online to Dent Time. You know, I'm still on Dent Time.
I
Um,
got to
Yeah.
get on Dent Time.
I was on.
Dent
I was
Trainer.
Yeah, Dent Trainer. Yes, actually, Dent Trainer is pretty good. I'll be honest.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, he has a lot of good stuff on there, you know. And who else did I watch? I think I did some Jim Mitchell for a while.
Yep.
Mm.
He had some good stuff, you know.
That's that real world PDR right
Yeah,
there.
I was on his
Yeah.
thing for a while, and then but the best experience, honestly, guys, is going out there and doing it. And like I said, if anybody's going to get into the business, write a clause, legal document stating that let the customer sign it. Say, hey, is it okay? Like I did in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the paper. Can you please sign this, and I'll see what I can do with this. You know, get
Hmm.
Yeah.
get whatever tools you think you might be able to help with the dent, and start working on it. You know,
Yep.
but
Right.
you have to be honest with them. Say it's going. If I do a good job, if you'd like to, you can give me a donation or a tip. You know, and most of the time they gave me a couple $100 when I did it. So
That's a very interesting tactic. It's I've never
Yeah.
heard that before, but I like it. I really like it.
yeah,
It's
that was the only way I was going to be able to learn. I had to think of something.
You were
You know,
determined.
yeah. So I had to think of
Yeah.
something. So I said, because I saw so many cars with dents in them, just driving around and so forth. And I was like,
Oh,
and then
sure.
an idea came to my head. Said, you know what? How about I just go for about a year
Just start
and
Yeah.
fixing them.
start fixing these things? If I can't fix them, there's nothing, no harm, nothing done because it's messed up anyways. And as
Hmm.
long as the client agrees to it, then and it's not a business yet, so just have them sign a paper that's saying that yes, you have permission to work on it, and then that's it.
Yeah. It's kind of like the old school body method of,
Yeah,
you go to a shop and nobody knows you. He says, just try me out for a week or two and see what you think. If I do good, hire me. If not, we'll go on about my day. And, but backing up to this, Gene Fetty stuff, Andy says, what's something in particular you've learned from Gene himself, from his trainings or whatever, you know, whatever you have.
that what? I didn't see that.
Is there something in particular that you learned from Gene
Actually, there is.
that
He
you
Okay.
can
he
point out?
he really demonstrated a really good crease. He had a really long crease, and I had
Mm-hmm.
the same. I had the same two robo lifters,
The
and I
crease
tried the
killer.
crease kill. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
tried it out, and it worked pretty damn well. And I was like, wow. Of course, you do your little finishing here and there, but
Yeah.
it worked really well. And I was
It does.
like watching a video, eating my popcorn like this. I was like, okay, Gene, what's next, Gene?
I kind of did
Yeah,
the same
right.
exact thing. So it's funny that you mentioned that because that was a big
Yeah.
one for me. It wasn't even Gene that sent me that video. It was actually, I think it was Mike Mack or Scott Staten. They saw me using one robo lifter with the big feet on a crease and they're like,
Yeah.
that's great, but you should really try the crease killer. And I'm like, I thought I did. And they sent me the video of Gene doing that. I'm like, oh, now I want another crease. It does work very, very well.
Yes, yes, it does. And of course, he does show you exactly what needs to be done, and it's pretty much like a free class. I mean,
Mhm.
if your mind can capture it, and you can actually think and you're actually there, feel like you're really there working
Mhm.
on the car with him,
Hmm.
you'll understand what he's trying to say and grasp,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
some people won't, some people can't, but some people can. So
I,
yeah,
I I have to say he did a great job with the GPR masterclass that he did too.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
haven't
you
seen
you
that. Yeah,
feel like you're right there with them. They went above and beyond with equipment and the way they shot footage and everything. So
right,
it's like being there. Honestly, it really did
right.
it. They did an awesome job, and I have had in person training with Gene, so
See, my
I know
next
what that's
thing.
like.
Right.
Mhm.
So my next thing I want to do is I want to master the hot boxes. You know,
Okay.
first I got to get one. you know, but I think that's going to help with a lot of finishing issues. Okay.
Yep.
I mean I've
Yeah.
seen it. Yeah, I've seen it over in actually. There's a lot of guys using it in all over the country, all different countries. And I've been watching this, and I was like, okay, interesting. But I want to make sure I get the right one.
Gene says, imagine what you could learn in the full class.
I took the full class. I don't know what he's talking about there. It was like there was like 1/2 hour of one of them I didn't do, and I couldn't get it done for some reason. And he sent me the certificate anyway.
Well, actually, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Gene does. He does. He's a good teacher. You know how some guys they're not so great at teaching PDR. I'm not going to mention anybody, but Gene is very good. Okay,
Oh,
he tells you exactly
absolutely he is.
this and this is going to happen. That's going to happen. This, you know what I mean? And he's spot on.
Yeah.
Because I made those same
Ah.
mistakes, and then also I corrected them. So
He's talking to Bobby. All right.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
there it
so
is.
Gene, make sure you pay me later, buddy. Okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Steven just got back posing for the Smash Master calendar. I knew whatever Steve wrote in there, it had to be good, so I had to read it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Right.
we look forward to that, Steve.
Yeah. I want one for myself and then one to give away.
To get-
But
okay.
if you look at these videos that some of these guys make, if like I was telling you before, if you kind of like focus on what they're kind of trying to do and portray and what they're trying to do with repairs, you'll get it,
Mhm.
you'll understand it, and it's a good way to learn things too.
Hmm.
Not everybody is going to have $10,000 to learn. You know,
No, no,
I mean that's a lot of money for
right.
somebody who's trying to get who's poor and is trying to get into the business.
Yeah.
But if you have the passion and you go out there and you do it, you'll get it done like I did, you know?
Yeah,
So you just got to do it. You got to have the passion and you have to have a lot of patience, a lot of
Yeah.
patience.
there's
A
there's
smash.
no substitute for the metal work. Go
And
ahead,
there's
Nick.
many
Yeah.
times
Yeah. Right.
you can even ask Alan Wilson. I told him many times, I quit. I'm not going to do this anymore, so he
Yeah.
understands. So,
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, all that is great, but that Smash 15 discount code helps a little bit
thank you,
more, and you can get
Miriam.
some of the best training out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's that GPR masterclass is
That,
something else.
yeah, I went to Texas and done that. I don't know if you've seen that, Bobby, but
Which one?
man, the Anson Open House where Gene was doing his training there.
It's
I went through his
in-person training.
I went through his course in person, yeah,
No, I
and
would love to do that. I'll be
yeah,
honest. I would love to do that for sure. Eventually, whenever I got time. But I'll be honest. I am like booked. I mean, I go on Facebook, and that's where I put all
mhm,
my ads mostly. So here's another thing too that you guys can do in your area. If you really want to get a lot of business, go out, create a a Facebook group. Okay, I created one. Okay, actually, I created two of them now in my area, all of Brevard County. Okay, I do everywhere in Brevard County, and I put ads out there every day. You know, boom, boom, boom. You know, different people,
Hmm.
talk with them. I even go when I see people at the gas station with a dent on their car. I give them a card. Hey, I'm
Mhm.
Bobby Z
There you go.
with Dent Zero. You know, if you need any help with it, you got to. That's what I mean by passion. You guys got to have passion to get do this kind of work. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, for sure.
and that will get you far. I'm telling you. You know, I'm not the best. Will I become the best? You better believe it.
I mean, when I was doing mine,
One of them. One of them.
I did the same thing. I made I printed my logo on some microfiber towels, and people with nice cars, I would just hand them those and cards and stuff. So I did a lot of that similar stuff that you're
You
talking about.
you did coffee cups, pens,
Yeah,
koozies, stickers,
yeah,
microfiber ego, and he give him a whole stack of things,
yeah,
all
I
with
did
his
that
logo
too.
on it.
Yeah, I did that. When I
That's
first
smart.
started, I made coffee cups and I went to my local diner and I gave them coffee cups. But then I started thinking that's costing me way too much money. You know,
yeah.
$300 a
It is a
pop just to,
lot.
you know. So that's when I came up with the Facebook ad. So basically, when you guys, starting out or whatever, go and create a Facebook page. You know, and put your ads
Yeah.
out there all the time. You won't believe the business you're gonna get. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm booked until like the end of December now.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
that's
Yeah.
good.
nice.
So
Andy
Andy,
asked
so
where Dent Zero came from. How did you come up with that?
oh well, it's so funny you said it because actually somebody took my name too after I got that name in Colorado somewhere. Dent Zero. There's a Dent Zero in Colorado now.
Okay.
uh,
Because somebody I was asking me like if it's a franchise. I'm like, no, no, it's not a franchise. So um, I came up with it. I'll be honest. I they're dents, and I want them to have zero dents on their car, and I was like, Dent Zero.
ah,
You know.
I
Okay.
So
get
that's
it.
where that pretty much came from, you know, and it stuck with me, and I have it all over my car now, and all my cards and everything, and actually people know who I am now in this town, so that's cool, you know.
Yeah. I didn't
That is
I
cool.
didn't know I didn't know if you had it like related to your last name, kind of like, Zero, like Bobby
Uh,
Zero, or kind of like
I didn't even
mixed
think
with
of
like,
that.
yeah, with mixed with like some Zorro or something, slash some dents or something. I don't know. There's
yeah,
a bunch of different ways you could do it. So
Dent
that's
well,
cool.
Zorro.
Bobby Z is not my real last name, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's a long Greek name, and I'm not gonna get it, but
Yeah.
so it's just a shortened up last name, so but Bobby and I are supporting in the times of yeah, that's true. That's true, Alan.
It's support works back and forth. It's
Yeah.
not one
Yeah, for
way.
sure.
So
And Alan is actually a really good guy too. He's helped me in some sticky situations too. He knows a lot as well. So, and he doesn't live that far from me. So he
Hmm.
actually lives like I think an hour away. So it's not too bad. And Josh is a good guy too. Josh is actually very close to me.
And he
And
says don't use
He's
Yelp.
in Cocoa Beach. He's a
okay,
great
okay.
guy, Josh.
Hmm.
And I would help
Yeah.
Josh as well. And
Yeah, we
I'm just
see
that
him pop up in the comments a lot. So
Yeah, he's
he's
in here.
yeah. He's a good guy. So and so yeah, and that's how Dent Zero was born. You know,
all
and
right.
I love it.
All right.
I will never get into anything else. I love the business. I mean, everybody gets frustrated if they have a PDR fail, which I've had a few failures, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But that shouldn't make somebody quit. Because
Yeah.
if you quit, then you're not going to win.
Hmm.
You have to fail before you succeed. So
I think it's a Seth Rogen quote where it says, "If you give up, you're never gonna finish." And if you don't, or actually, I messed it up. He says, "If you don't give up, that's how you get to the end. But if you give up, you definitely aren't gonna finish." I mean, it's
yeah,
Seth Rogen, so it's just so obvious, and it's funny when he says
I'll be
it.
honest. I'm not sure if Martin is still on or not. I can't tell. I can't see on here, but he actually has good videos too. Martin does a
Yeah.
fantastic job at teaching. he teach. I could tell you the guys that do very good on YouTube that teach,
Yeah.
and they're free classes, you know, and is Martin and Jake. Jake does a
Yeah.
really good job.
Yeah, when either one of those put out a YouTube video on, I'm watching it just because I enjoy what they do. Not only that, but the way that they produce their videos is really nice.
Right.
So whenever
Yes.
either one of them come out with a video, man, I watch it.
It's so much work to do this social media content creation thing.
Hmm.
And obviously, I know what that's like. And when I see somebody putting the effort into their videos like that, and really, I mean, they're not gaining anything other than the feeling of helping others. And that takes a good person to do that. And so I will also make sure I watch all the videos from certain people that I see just doing their best to educate us. Another one out there is Jonathan Hatfield. He just puts out such great videos explaining exactly what he's doing and how he does it, and helpful things like don't buy the $1,200 tower, build yours for $80, and things like that. So
Who is that again?
Jonathan
Jonathan
Hatfield,
Hatfield.
Elevation Dent Company.
Oh yes, he's really good. Yes.
He is super.
Yeah.
He makes great videos. We had him on the show
Yes.
way early on. He was like in the single digits
Yeah.
Yeah.
with us, and
Yeah,
he's
he does a great job actually. As a
Great.
matter of
Yeah, he's
fact, I
out there
even
killing it.
yeah, he's doing a great job. My hat goes off to him, Hatfield.
Yep. Well, we were
Yeah.
talking about Gene's training a lot there, Steve. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
And Martin is still here, man. I know it's late there, so that's some dedication.
There's a
there.
lot of good training out there. It's just got I mean, if somebody doesn't have $10,000, then I recommend them to try to join every class they can. You know,
Right.
But the thing is too that like the most thing that everybody has a hard time with, and I still kind of struggle on it, is the finishing. You know, is
Mhm.
trying to get that last little 10% up without cracking the paint. You know, and can it be done? Yeah, I use a lot of heat to do it. So,
Yeah.
but in aluminum, like I hate aluminum. I really don't
I
like
get it. I get it. I almost feel at an advantage entering this game at a time when there's lots of aluminum around, because I feel like I have almost equal practice on aluminum as I do steel. But when it's steel, I go, thank God. When it's aluminum, it's like, well, here we go.
Well, that's what I tell my clients, I say, can you please put a magnet on the panel? And they're like, why? Because I
So
want to
you know
know.
ahead of time.
Yeah, because I want to know if it's aluminum, I could price accordingly. And they're like, oh, okay, and they'll tell me if it's. I have to do a refrigerator tomorrow. Isn't that crazy? So
I actually,
Yeah.
you know what? You're reminding me. I have to bring going to my mother's for Thanksgiving this week, and she has dents in her fridge, so I have to remember to bring my glue pulling tools. I don't think there's any access on those things.
no,
No.
you cannot get in them. You cannot get in those. You got to do 100% glue pull.
All right.
I'm sure it could be done.
Oh no, there's
I've been
tiny
one
little
one time.
dents.
So,
Yeah.
You have done a refrigerator before?
a stainless steel one, yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan Vanderfine. Yeah, he shares some really good videos. He's got some
Yeah.
good videos of his own as well. That's that JVF retention tool is something else. Actually, I wanted to ask you, Bobby, is there any tool in particular that you're really fond of at the moment? Drill it, Andy. Drill holes in my mother's fridge. Oh God.
Yeah, right.
I kind
Take the handle off.
I like all my tools, but I mean the one that I use a lot.
Yeah, your go-to, something that sticks out.
I would have to say definitely I use my Robo Lifter,
Nice.
and I do use some stand liners. Like the rolling spoon. I use that a lot because it just gathers the metal up quicker for me.
I gotta get one of those.
Yeah, it does really good. I'm trying to get myself a whale
does
tail, a
that.
killer whale tail. But they're always out of stock all the time.
Which whale tail?
The killer whale tail
Killer whale tail. Oh no, I know that one.
from Stanliner.
Oh, from Stanliner. Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. Yeah, I don't have any Stanliner tools. That's actually something. I mean, everybody's videos showcase them, and everybody raves about them. And the only time I seen them is last year at MTE, and MTE was the week after my PDR training with David, so I was fresh out of the gate. I mean, I'm walking around there not knowing what the hell I'm looking at, So this year I have a better idea and I'm gonna spend some time in that Stanliner booth and play with some of the tools, because if I don't order them there, I'm gonna order them later. And I want to know exactly what it is I want. And
I was told that there's certain training with Stanliner tools. I have to look into that. I don't know.
They apparently they have a different method
Yeah.
to their tools. I mean,
I've seen
more
them
of a
bouncing
rolling.
just bouncing the tool like this. I'm like, how the hell are they doing that? Like just bouncing it off the hood. I'm like, shit. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Steve says the Stanliner fishtail is a must-have.
I don't have that one.
I've got a few Stanliner tools that I use them whenever I can.
Why is the fishtail? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, why is the fishtail is a must-have? I was curious.
We'll see if he gives us a response on that.
Mm.
But what I've heard mostly about, I think it's that rolled spoon or whatever, that one with the big end on where it comes up and it's that big wide dolly end.
Yeah.
Like that one I've seen people rave about, and then the snake tool and the raised snake tool.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but great things about.
Cliff is in here. Yeah, Cliff, I knew you got trained by Kaz. That's pretty sweet. So
yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. Body line.
I know that one thing, like with any dent, if you don't get that body line up, that metal is not going to move.
Yep, for sure. Body line at the lower portion of forward doors.
Yeah.
With the Stanliner fishtail.
Okay.
I need more brace tools for sure. So
I'll get that one too.
I have some Dent Reaper dolly tips. They work really nice when I can get them, in the areas.
I agree. Actually, I have those as well. Mm-hmm. They do work very well.
Yep,
so what is your go-to? What is your go-to, Nick?
As far as like a Stanliner tool or just tools
just like
in general?
What do you
favorite
use?
Tool?
Your favorite tool? Like 3 of them.
Well, it's usually whatever I get to the dent. But
take that answer, of course.
But whether it be the bottom end of my hammer or ball peen tip something, or but I don't know. I usually use Ultra Dent Tools 36-inch double bend, a couple extension stuff. I use some rubber tip tools. Just trying to push the paint up without dysfunctioning any of the factory orange peel as much as possible.
So you gotta be very careful with the metallics too, from what I've learned.
Yeah, you do. You do. And Janelle reminds me of the Shrinky Box. I do enjoy the Shrinky Box quite a bit. That thing has saved me on quite a few repairs that I probably wouldn't have been able to do unless I had that. So
yeah, I want to get one of those as well. I want to get the one that is on top of the hood too, where you can just go like this.
With a roller, like a wheel.
No, I don't. It doesn't have a wheel, but it's just like it just glides across the hood like that. It goes BDGDG. I forgot the name of that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You're talking about a hot box.
Hot box. Thank you, Jesus. I couldn't think about that.
Yeah, Baytag. Baytag makes that, and that's an interesting tool. I haven't played with that much, but that's a very interesting. That's an induction heater.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it is. Yes,
it works good. It works good.
That's my next purchase.
Gene mentions these phenolic tips. I don't know if you have any, but they are super nice. They are excellent, and I love those tips. I have on 2 of my knockdowns just for knockdown tips, and they work fantastic.
It's amazing that Gene said that, because I was standing at MTE in the Anson booth looking at the row of tips, and all I hear behind me is, if you don't have phenolic tips, you should get phenolic tips. And I turn around, and it's Gene. So I grabbed him. Okay, if he says so. Josh says the DW Ford tool. I agree.
495 in the house. Yes, he is. Yeah, the Baytag one is good. A lot of these comments rolled in really fast, and they just kind of went to where I couldn't keep up with them. So sorry,
that's
guys.
cool.
It doesn't tell me how many people are in here, but
there's 15 watching at the moment, but we've had more than that.
Yeah, wow.
But that's actually a pretty good number for us. We get a lot of views. Yeah, we get a lot of views, recorded views. Yeah. And we are also, for everybody to know, we are on Audible, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I just updated them, so all of our episodes, besides the one we're talking on right now, are on there. And I'll get this one on there ASAP as well, because I saw somebody was asking if they could listen to you on Apple Podcasts there, Bobby Z. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah, so I was going to make sure that you got on there ASAP.
Well, I'm actually going to be starting a podcast myself. That's why I have this set up behind me right here.
You heard it here first, folks. The Bobby Z Podcast, or what are you going to call it?
Not yet, though. Not down the road. Down the road. I'm a little bit busy right now. I got, 2 businesses running, so I gotta find another, time for it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it takes time. I mean it's and it's a commitment for sure. But we're having a blast doing this podcast thing. We really are. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a good Or maybe I'll come on here for sometimes here and off and on.
Yeah, absolutely. Stanliner Pirate Hook. I don't know anything about that one.
I actually heard that's pretty good sweet. For creases. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a DW4 tool, that's pretty much just the door tool with the BB tip on the end of it, isn't it? The DW4 tool. I don't know, Josh.
I don't know. Let me ask you guys, what is your go-to tool for dragging?
For dragging. So I don't do that much. So
no, I do it a lot. It works great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have the flat tip snake tool from Stanliner. Get you a ring light. Yeah.
Get a ring light. Yeah, it's just to light up your face a little bit more. That's all. But
hold on.
No, you got light. But the ring light tends to not cast shadows. That's what's nice about the ring light.
This is too bright though. I gotta turn this down.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what this is? This is this right here.
Steve always coming in.
You're using a PDR light. Of course. Not the first time I've seen PDR lights used as lighting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy says don't do like I do. You have to be a professional. So
don't do it side profile.
Speaking of PDR lights, let me show you something here, guys. Okay, so I can never mount this to the car because this. Hold on, let me see if I can get in there. This little suction cup, this little tiny thing here, little maybe 2.5 inches, 3 inches, whatever, holds this big ass heavy light now. Doesn't work. Does not work.
I'm not a fan of the 3-inch either.
Yeah. So I have to tie it to, unless I can get the adapter. I don't know if they do that or not, but I have to tie it to where is it at? Here it is. Let me show you. Don't laugh, okay? Hold on.
No promises.
No.
Hey, you got to improvise,
No, I'm all with that.
Mean, how can you not laugh with this type of comment coming in?
This thing right here.
Oh, you're using an IV bag hanger?
Yeah. I zip tie it around, and
hey,
it works great.
Yeah,
if it works, man, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I picked it up at like $20.
Yeah. Speaking of lights, man, when I was hauling my stuff up here,
oh yeah,
my light fell off in between my toolboxes. My toolbox shifts and rolls completely over it. It turns it into like a freaking banana shaped and it's all bent up, and I was like, this is never gonna work. I
It's
even
like a
told Stephen,
36. It's like a 36-inch
it's
A1
it's the
tool.
A1 Tools light, yeah, and
Yeah.
and I was like, man, I might have to get it. I was gonna get another light anyways, but I was like, well, I can't do nothing about it now. So I kind of wiggle it around, straighten it up a little bit. Let me plug it up and see if it works. It actually worked, and there's a hole punched in the back of it, and there's all kinds of stuff. I couldn't believe it. Those things are, I don't know, I can't speak for all of them, but that particular one is pretty tough.
You know,
I have to agree with Josh here. The oval cup from Elimident sticks much better than those little 3-inch ones. I have a 3-inch suction cup on my Stucky light, and it's always falling off. And I've changed that light. I've changed the suction cup 3 or 4 times, and each time it gets better until it just stops. And it's not if it'll fall off; it's when it will fall off.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's with the Elimident light. I just leave it. I'd leave it on a panel in my garage. It'll be there weeks, still stuck on there. And it's not an auto suction. It's all manual. I
right.
heard the auto suction ones will actually eat your battery pretty fast, and I don't mind pushing a button. So it's but yeah, those Elimident big suction cups, good.
So when you
Auto, and
use,
Andy says auto suck for the win. As soon as I said that,
so let me ask you this: whenever you need a tower on when you're on mobile, like a tower to
Hmm.
pool, what do you usually use? What machine do you use? For me, I use my van. I
that's
use
all I have too. My
Yeah.
vehicle.
I open up my door and I wrap it around the pole and I clip it onto the door thing and I start cranking the ratchet strap. Like it
Okay.
works good. But I don't know if you guys have any better ideas or not. But
I haven't used it yet, but I have a bike rack for a trailer hitch. It just comes up, and it's a bar that goes up, and then you can put bikes on it. But it's just a bar that comes out of my trailer hitch. I think I can use that as a tower. Honestly, I don't see
Yeah.
why not. So
I, I
I'm
yeah,
gonna try that.
that's a
I
good idea.
normally just use the person that's parked next to me's vehicle. I usually,
Their tire
yeah,
or something.
I'm trying to
yeah,
figure out how to instead of using a bridge all the time, but trying to use some kind of a ratchet system where this is if I had a shop maybe, but have it roll over top of the car, and you could
yeah,
use a crank where it pulls it up, like a hood, like a dent
yeah.
in the hood, just pull it right up. But I have to brainstorm on that one, try to figure it out how to build something like that down the road. But for mobile, that's kind of hard.
Yeah, that's tough doing any kind of upward pull. But it's I mean,
Yeah,
I know perfect pull makes a mobile setup. I don't know I don't think you're gonna get an upward pull from it.
yeah, that would be a great way to figure out how to get an upward pull.
Like you mean like pulling a roof rail or something?
Like
Well,
pull
like
that
on
door
a
off.
roof, or even help like holding it, like pulling, like say a hood, right? You want to
Yeah,
pull a hood for a
I,
while, and
yeah.
then tap it down.
Mm.
I'm actually
I was
working
just
on the hood now.
Josh beat me to it, but I was gonna say a light pole. I mean, you climb pretty far up there, and it eventually get upwards.
Get a tree
I don't.
branch.
Yeah, just use the
Yeah,
oak tree. Use the
Yeah.
engine hoist. I mean, Martin's got the only logical one in here.
Yeah, but that's a lot to haul around mobile.
Yeah, that
That's
is.
a that's a
exactly,
that's a
exactly.
lot
Allen.
to.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna have to give up on this stream of vertical ratchet strap pulls. There, Bobby.
I'll figure it out. I promise. I'll figure it
All
out.
right, all right. But it's yeah. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way, right?
I mean, Steve
Exactly.
said he used the forklift, so that I mean that could work. I mean, if you towed around a forklift or have somebody close by that has one.
Yeah, I guess you just gotta evaluate each situation when you're in them. Try
Hmm.
and find some way to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I've seen guys use a giant pry bar, and what they do is next to the car they set up one of those stands for when the car's on a lift, but you want to put some support under it,
Right.
like a tall, like spinny jack.
Yeah.
And you put that above, and you put the pry bar on that, and use that as leverage to get an up pull on a roof or something like that. But you're not putting constant tension on. You're using your force to get the work done.
So do you guys ask for deposits or no?
I don't yet.
No.
It's something. I mean, I'm super new. My business is super new, and I still work in a body shop Monday through Thursday, so I don't do that much on my own business.
So the reason why I do that, because I got burned a couple times, you know. So I'll place these customers in my schedule. Like when I first started out, I'll place them on my schedule, and then they'll call me like a couple days before I have to go out there and do their car, and they'll say, "Well, you know, we have to go out of town, and we'll have to do it when we get back, maybe," and they never do it. So now I ask for deposits, you know, at least a couple $100, you know. So because if they decide to cancel on me, which happens, then at least I got, you know, a couple hundred out of it, you know. So, you know, and it just makes good business sense to me, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of my work was from other body shops and stuff. So, or is so, you know, I just go through and do work at their place, and then, you know, they pay me when I'm done.
I also charge $40 to go out to their home. It's an assessment fee, and because I have to look at the car. You know, they can send pictures and video all day long, but you're never gonna know unless you're there looking at it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I've been burned
sure.
on that before. So I tell the client, I say, there's a $40 assessment fee, but it does get applied to the job if you hire us. You know, so that way. Because here's the thing, I found out by doing that I get them every time because they think like, well, we already put $40 into this. Let's go with this guy. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
And that works
sure.
very well. You know. And most of the time they'll do the deposit afterwards, you know. So
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, no, it's not at all. I mean, everybody else does it with HVAC tech or plumber or whatever. They're going to charge you to come out and look at something. So,
of course they are. Of course they are.
you know, why not?
And that's what. Of course. You know, we're nobody different. We have a profession. So, you know.
Yeah, I know you
that's
talked
a good
about
idea.
this earlier. I know you talked about this earlier, but what are you using for scheduling?
To me.
Yeah.
Oh, I honestly, what I just use the Google scheduling. That's it.
Like the calendar.
Just a calendar. It works fine.
That's
for
all
me.
I've been doing too, because
Yeah.
that's how I schedule my life. So that's where I'm putting the BDR.
Yeah, it just works for me the best, you know. It's just, and then I could just, if I have to, you know, rewrite it, I could just delete it and put somebody else there if I have to. So it works out instead of me paying for something I don't need, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don says he got burned on a job for not putting, you know, asking for deposits. He said you're going to change that. So, I mean, it's always good. Everybody else does it for that reason, and there's no reason why.
Oh, wait a minute. That's Don? That was Don?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Don Kavanaugh.
Oh, shit. What's up, Don? He's a good guy.
He's been here the whole time.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Yeah, Don's awesome.
Yeah, he popped into the Cam Auto booth at SEMA. We got to
Yeah.
spend, he was in that booth for a good hour or so, hanging out with
Now,
us.
Let me tell you about Don. But he's actually very humble. I like him a lot. He's very cool, down to earth. You know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I
Doesn't
mean,
talk shit about anybody. He's actually there to help you. Like I
Yeah.
asked him a couple questions before, and he told me, you know, his thoughts on it and so forth. So yeah, and that's what I
Yep.
like too. I like guys like that who, if you ask them a question like, "Hey, what is your thoughts on how you would go about getting this dent out real quick?" You know, just brainstorming. You know, I mean, I know what I would do. You know, and then I'm just getting another, you know, like a third opinion or a fourth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would do that for somebody. Why not? You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so he does that. So I like that, you know, and he's a really cool dude, you know.
oh,
Yeah.
I hope, Don,
absolutely.
you
Man.
come to Cocoa Beach, man.
It was Nick's my guy. I send him just about every picture a customer send me. I'm like, all right, what the heck do you think about this? Because usually it's something like really smashed. And I'm going, I should say no, right? Nick's like, no, you should say yes.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. But
Yeah.
that's how I go into every challenging job, going like, how the hell am I going to do this? And then it comes out okay, you know?
Yeah.
God, this is water. Water.
And this
Sure.
is this is wine. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Charging.
Sure.
Charging an assessment fee is satisfied with the cost of gas, travel time, and assessment. Yep. No, it's important. We gotta get paid for what we do.
Yeah,
And
exactly, Miriam. Miriam, you said it right. Definitely.
you give them the
definitely have
opportunity to apply the money to the
Yeah,
job,
right.
you know, so they're not losing.
No, and the client hears that, and then boom, that's it. You don't have to say anything else.
No,
And
that's a
then you
great
tell
idea.
them, and then you tell them about the deposit, and most of the time, they'll say yeah, they'll say yes. I never had any. I had one customer had an issue with the deposit. One, and says, well, I don't think I should need to do the deposit, and then that's when I say, you know what? Then go see Josh. Just
Yeah,
kidding. I'm kidding, Josh. I'm kidding, Josh.
yeah.
Mm.
That's great.
No, I'm teasing,
Yeah,
buddy.
that's good
Yeah,
stuff,
so,
man.
but
That's
yes,
great.
deposits are a plus, a necessity actually.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
What did Don
absolutely.
say? I didn't see what Don said. What did Don just say?
He said thanks for letting me know about the podcast and sending him the link.
Oh
So
yes, absolutely,
Which
brother.
yeah,
we appreciate you sharing around our podcast as well. So we
yeah,
get
absolutely,
some
we
few
do.
new followers tonight.
Oh yeah, I sent it
Yeah,
out to a lot of people. Yeah,
yeah, that's
Appreciate it
nice.
for sure.
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, there's been a few times that I've said something about held jobs being over a certain amount, and I would need a deposit for them or something, or if they
Yeah.
wanted me to write the estimate. Because I've had a few people call me and say, "Hey, could you just write me a hell estimate? Because I have to get like two or three or whatever." And I'll say, "Well, if you want me to just write you the estimate, I'll charge like 250. It's just throw a number 250 out there." And they're like, "Well, I don't. I just want you to write me the estimate." I'm like, "Well, that's going
That
to
Well,
take
takes
about an
time.
here,
hour at least of my time, and
right.
Right.
plus I have to drive there, and I have to photo and document everything." I'm like, so,
Well, this is what I tell my clients. I tell when they ask because I know they're comparing estimates. That's what they're doing.
hmm
You know.
yeah,
So this is what I tell them. I say, look, I can just tell you the price, the deposit, and so forth. I can text it to you, but I can't make you an estimate because I have to pay the girl, to write it up, you know. And they're like, oh, whoa, okay. Well, just tell me what it would be and this and that, and then I say, okay, it's going to be 250 down, and then it's going to be $900, you know. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then they go shopping at a body shop somewhere, and they're like, oh, forget it, you know.
oh, yeah, yeah,
Right. I mean, I had one of those the other day. Somebody asked me like a gate that was crushed in. I think it was the one. And I was like, I'm not doing this. And Nick's like, you're doing this. So I gave him a price and set up an appointment for me to go look at the damn thing. And and the customer called me the day before the appointment and said, oh, it turns out my gate actually needs replacement and maybe the bumper too. So I'm going to the body shop through insurance. Thanks anyway. And it's like,
Exactly. Yeah. But we also have to be careful in this business too, because we can be taken advantage of, which I have,
yeah. You sure
and
can.
the customer be like, well, you kind of were late the other day, you think you can give me a discount like $200? I'm like, are you serious? You know, I'm like,
yeah, no, I
and
don't put
then
up
and
with that.
if you don't, they're gonna like, well, we're gonna give you a bad review if I'm like, come on, what are you trying to threaten me now?
Go right ahead.
That's craziness, you know.
Go right ahead.
It's
Yeah.
just I mean, you can only be so nice to customers at a point,
Hmm.
Yeah, you're in your business for yourself. You have to look out for yourself. I mean,
Right, right.
that's what we're doing here.
Exactly. You should have Don on here one of these days.
I'd love to have Don on here. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll contact Don.
Don, you want to
that'd
come
be
up here
awesome.
one day?
I'll bet you
Hey,
he would.
yeah. I mean, all these guys got interesting stuff. You can learn from everybody. That's why we try to get a mix of everybody on here, both collision and PDR.
Hmm.
Just because it's two separate worlds. Like mine and Stefan's world is totally opposite. Even though we're in collision and PDR, we're still totally separate. So
Yeah. I would like to probably get into doing some hail down the road. But
Hmm.
I'll be honest, I'm not as fast as some of those guys out there that they're like, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I mean, I probably could be eventually, but the thing is that, I'd like to try to master that as well.
From
You
what
know,
I hear, doing the hail is what makes you fast. I mean, it's you
yeah,
think about it, you got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dents in front of you. And it's just repetition. And after enough repetition, you're gonna be damn fast. You're gonna be really damn fast. But you need to get the repetition in.
yeah,
hmm,
And
yeah,
how else are you gonna do it? But to do it. So it's
yeah,
I mean, just like we were talking, you just got to get out there and just do it. Put in that metal time
I know.
and get to it. I'm in the same boat. I would like to try hail as well. I'm hoping that Nick gets overwhelmed with a little bit of hail work and calls me out to Colorado to come help
yeah.
him out.
We're gonna see what happens come, you know,
You know,
next
and
season.
if it happens, if not, you know, I'll find
Yeah,
a different connection.
Yeah, let me
But
know. Let me know, Nick. I'll come up there too and get some
yeah,
training on it.
hell
yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
get some hill work pushed out. We're still working through hill cars in Oklahoma. Yeah, well, that's Oklahoma City. So
Yeah,
that's you guys are doing that year round, from what I understand, just from backlog.
yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean, there
here's
was a
here.
hailstorm not too long ago in Oklahoma, so
Right, and they get them a lot. Yeah.
yeah.
So here's the
So
thing. Like for me, whenever we get hail in Florida, I don't know what to tell these customers because I really don't want to do it because I'm not that fast with it yet. You know, so I have to figure out a way. You know, most of the time I've been giving it away to other people.
yeah,
I've been giving some to
appreciate
some other
that, Steve.
people. I'm not going to mention names, but so yeah, and but I don't want to give them away. I want to be able to work on it myself. And if I
Hmm.
need to, maybe get a team, and work on it together. So why not?
Yeah. So, talking about that, do you do any like R&Is or do you take anything apart major on vehicles? Are you pretty proficient in that, or do
When
you
I do
kind of just stay
when
away
I
from
do
that?
large, yeah, when I do large repairs, yes, I'm doing R&I.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I like to tackle large ones too because I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
you know,
nothing wrong with that. We need the big dent techs out here.
yes.
So
Actually, who's
it's
really good with that is the Man of Steel. I love his videos.
he's awesome. Yeah, he does
Yes,
really
Yeah.
great videos.
Got
yes,
some good
Ken.
stuff.
Ken
Ken really does
Clark.
really good. Yeah,
Yeah. And obviously Bryce Kelly's putting out
oh yeah,
the
Bryce is really good.
jaw-dropping videos.
Yeah,
That's what I love to show people.
Right.
Usually it's a body tech. Body techs will go, man, you could take this method and do some really awesome stuff, like big stuff with it, right? I'm like, yeah, but you should check out the guys that are really doing it. And I bring up Bryce Kelly's videos, and they're just like, next day they come up to me, they're like, you weren't kidding. That guy does some really good work. And I'm like, you went and watched all his videos last night, didn't you? And they're like, yeah.
I've watched every one of them.
you ever get clients? You ever get clients that come up to you and you give them the price of you give them the quote and they're like, "That's kind of high. I don't know." And I'm like thinking to myself, "You want
In
to see
free
high?
time.
Go to the body shop. That's high." you know?
Well, right. I mean, it does. That's where it helps being from the body shop area, because I
Yes.
can literally tell them, like, listen, like, yeah, you can go to the body shop instead, but that's going to be at least this much. And I know that because I've spent the last 15 plus years in a body shop, you
Right.
know,
Right.
Yep.
or you could get this fixed right now. In a few hours, it'll be done for a lot less. And I know it's a big chunk of change, but you're saving yourself a lot, and you're saving the Carfax, and you're saving your paint, and that you guys all
Well,
know
Yeah.
the
here's the
spiel.
thing. This is what the customer looks at. This is what got to get into their mind. They're like, they'll see like let's say I don't know a 5-inch crease dent on their hood. Okay,
Hmm.
they'll look at that and you'll tell them, oh, that's gonna be about $1,100, and they're like, what? And then I say, well, what's the other alternative? And they like look at you and they go, well, the body shop wanted like 2,200. I'm like, you know, so
Hmm.
sometimes we gotta like tell these customers because they're not educated enough to know the difference. They think that $1,100 is a lot of money to repair a 5-inch crease in their eyes. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
but in our eyes, we're thinking like, shit, we're gonna spend a long time on this car. We got to get it done. Depending on
Right.
what can happen. So, um, but that's how they think, and we just have to educate them and let them know what's going on.
That's the most important part. And that's what I try and do with all my PDR videos is just to educate customers and the public, the general public, on what it is we do and why it's so valued. And it's people don't understand auto body because I mean, you think how many times does somebody need an auto body shop in their lives? Once, maybe twice. You know, they don't know the process. They don't know what goes on. And the same goes for PDR, you know, so it's our job to let them know that this even exists. And my own father was asking me just a few years ago. He sent me pictures of little dents on his truck, and I said, "You should call a PDR guy." He goes, "What's PDR?" You know, and so it's like paintless dent repair. And he sent me a note like a couple days later. He was down in Florida. I can't remember who he used.
I get a lot of females that have dents in our cars, and I'll tell them PDR, and they have no idea what the hell that is.
Nobody does. Nobody knows what it is.
On the back of my car now, well, I'm getting ready to change it again, but I didn't put PDR on there. I didn't put paintless dent. I put vehicle dent repair. It's scratch and dent
Smart.
repair.
Smart.
Because they understand that, you know. And if I
Right.
choose to use PDR on that repair, or if I have to do conventional, depending on the severity of the paint job or the paint, then I'll do what I got to do. So
Yeah, that's very smart. I mean, that's also why I named my business My Dent Shop. You know, you're trying to relate to the public. You're not trying to relate to dealerships. You know, so putting paintless dent repair on there, people are just gonna be like, meh. But putting My Dent Shop, they're like, oh, I got dents. You know, he must. I'm sure they don't think that I'm putting dents in cars. You know,
I don't want to do dealerships. I'm not a big fan of that. But I like having my clients. You know, I love dealing with having my own clients because the thing is that they're repeat clients. You know, a lot of them keep on coming back to me. You know, and
Yeah, for sure.
and I have a 5-star review on my Google, so I work very hard for that. You know.
What up, Larry?
Yeah,
I actually like that line too, Don. I'm going to use that from now on.
What do you say?
that the not having gone to a traditional body shop first because you would think that's a lot better option at PDR, and a lot of times it is, even though it might be sound expensive, but a lot of these vehicles now with the color paints and stuff, trying to match it and blending on adjacent panels, all the RNIs and stuff to get it both ways, and
Oh, people lose their minds with the body shop prices.
especially if you told them about ADAS.
Yeah, ADAS and just the paint job alone costing a few grand.
Yeah.
People lose their minds.
I love doing I love doing spot painting because I do have a few tricks that I know that I can make the paint match pretty much perfectly. But then again, I tell the client all the time. I tell them, there could be a slight shading difference sometimes. But if you want to go get it painted at the body shop, they're not going to just paint this part. They're going to have to paint all the doors, because to blend everything in. So most of the time they say yeah because they get the price from the body shop and they're like, yeah, I'm going to stick with Bobby Z or so.
Yeah.
And it comes out good though. I like doing spot painting. It does. It comes out nice.
I do hear that, Steve. I hear. You still doing that dentless paint thing? That's what I get all the time. That dentless paint thing. I'm like, well, it's a dentless paint thing when I'm done with it.
You guys still sucking them dents out? I've had people ask me that.
Sucking the dents out. Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I hate the most is when a client comes to me. Can you just pop this out real quick for me?
Don't you just love that? And,
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
no,
That's when I'm
I
like,
cannot. It's a simple answer. No. I can push it out.
Can I just pour some hot water over this?
Yeah, that's good.
Boiling water.
I love
boiling
that.
water.
It
And
worked once, and the only reason why it worked is because it's very shallow. And
it certainly didn't finish it.
exactly.
It just bulked it.
Yeah.
Dentless paint removal. Yes.
Yeah.
That's usually, that's what I hear too.
Hey, you have crazy stuff like that in a body shop too when people come through and ask, I had a guy ask one time if we had an unbending machine that we used,
Yeah,
What kind? Wait, a what machine?
an
uh, un
unbending.
yeah, unbending machine.
No, somebody said that really?
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
God,
It's just yeah, we get all the PDR stuff now because it's funny, but these some of these guys are crazy out here.
I know it's
How do
crazy.
you how do you discuss repairs that you know aren't going to be 100% or turn out 100%?
I just tell them that. I just tell them, listen, like, yeah, I can do this for you. It's not going to come out perfect. I'm thinking shooting for 80, 90%, and this
Yes,
is the price. And then you strive to get above that. Like we said, under promise,
there you
but
go. And
over
over deliver.
deliver.
Right.
Yeah.
So still try and get that 100%.
Yeah.
And generally, when you get it to 90, they're going to think it's 100.
Exactly. And that's what I tell
Hmm.
my customers as well, because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not like Mr. Perfect where it comes to, it's going to be like, perfect. You're not going to see nothing because,
Oh
you're going to
man.
still see a little something, and I tell them the truth, you know,
Right.
but,
Right.
until I perfect my master craft, I'll be able to do it, I mean, like, nobody can be like Martin all the time. Just kidding.
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming in, Martin.
I'm
Appreciate you,
just kidding,
Martin.
Martin.
I
I
really
know it's a
do.
late night
See,
for you, man.
Martin
Right?
makes them perfect. He'll take a little pencil and go, see that little tiny area right there. I'm like, come on, Martin, you're killing me, man.
Yeah, but those are the guys that'll push you to be better. I mean,
I know.
I
Yeah,
think
Yeah.
it was
Right.
Matt Boyette we had on the show where his group of friends that were all fixing dents, they were all trying to show each other up the whole time. So
Hmm.
like they'd be done with a dent and the guy would come by and go, "Really, you gonna leave it like that?" No, and then keep pushing.
oh, too funny.
No, even though they were gonna leave it like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to have somebody who's gonna push you like that. It's
Yes.
something that I'm kind of missing, to be honest. So Nick, step
Yeah.
up your game. All right.
Well,
What
all these
happened?
guys have great videos. They're good. All the guys that are down there in the comments,
Hmm.
they're all fantastic guys, really. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that they came by.
They are. They are. They are. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I'm my own worst critic. I'm the one always telling myself to make it better. So I have that. It's
Yeah.
just that was just a comment I was going to say. Actually, Nick has to tell me to let things go in general. So I'll send
Yeah.
him a picture and he'll be like, "That's great, man. It looks awesome." And I'm like, "No, it's not good enough." He's like, "Dude, it's great." So, I'm like, "No, I suck." So I have the opposite problem, but that's all right.
I mean, it happens, but once you get it blended out nice and it looks fine, it is
Well,
what it is.
for the longest part time, I didn't know how to blend, and not only that, I was working with bad blending tools. So I felt like
Yes.
I couldn't blend, but it was really honestly as soon as I got a good hammer in my hand with good tips on it, all of a
Hmm.
sudden I can blend.
Yeah.
Like it's an amazing difference. And one of the main things for me that it was is I switched from broad tips to much smaller, like peewee style almost. So maybe a little thicker than a peewee, but
Yeah.
like more of a
My
point.
favorite my favorite tip for blending, honestly, is the hubcap. I love that thing. The hubcap tip,
I don't know it.
the chrome. It's good. The oval with the circle. I mean,
Sounds big.
it is. It's big, and let me tell you, it works very well. I love
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever works for you
Yeah.
and whatever takes the damage out is the right tool. That's what I always tell people when they ask me about tools and stuff. I'm
Right.
like, dude, whatever's getting it out, that's the
Yeah.
right tool. That's the right
There,
tool.
there's so
Like,
much
you see that
tools out
rake?
there, though. There's so
The
much
what?
tools and there's so much tips
Yeah.
and different stuff that people aren't really asking what you know what you're using because they want to go use what you're using, but they're more or less asking what kind of techniques are we using to get this general idea accomplished here. And that's one thing about having all these kinds of different tools. I mean, each one of them fits for a different project or whatever you're working on. And what I use is different than what all of you other guys might use, but it still gets it done. It's just what you get used to. And
Hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
somebody they just want pointed in the general direction. That's really it.
Carbon
Exactly.
Tech sells it. Okay.
Yeah.
He
If you're
said
working on a
hubcap.
hubcap,
He's working on
Working
big
on some
damage.
big damage. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I do work on a lot of big damage sometimes. You know.
I like the big stuff. I
Me
mean,
too.
not as
Me
much
too.
for PDR unless the customer's okay with not having it perfect. Then I love it. But I'm actually so at the body shop I'm working in now. What he does is he offers. It's more like so he's got a kid that's in college, and the kid has lots of friends, and they all have cars that have big damage on them, but they don't want to pay body shop prices to fix them. So he keeps calling them in one at a time, saying, "I got this guy here who does glue pulling. He can make it way better, and we can give it to you for much less of a price because of that." So I've been getting some really cool practice on some really big dents, all paintless, and I get better and better every time. I've been having a lot of fun with that, and it's been a while since I
absolutely.
had one. But yeah, that's the one. It's the Daniel Grom hammer, the 144. You might know it that way, Stefan. No, I got it. Daniel Grom hammer sounds familiar. I'm gonna look it up. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out what that hubcap is. I actually the next blending hammer I wanted to try was the Glexo. I forget
The one that was, yeah, I know which one you're
that
talking about.
Hudson was talking
Yeah,
about.
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually,
Mhm.
Glexo, I love working with Glexo too. You know.
That I've heard such great things about that hammer, and it's just so pretty. I want
Mhm.
it.
So let me ask you guys: do you in your repairs do you use cold glue first or no, just to see what you can get out?
Sometimes, I mean, only if it's something where you're not going to be stretching it out with cold glue.
Yeah. Well, I don't really stretch it when I use cold
Four
glue.
ounce.
I've never had any problems. Never had any problems with stretching it out. It seems like when I use cold glue, it kind of like pops back to where it needs to be. You know, most of the time. So that my experience. You know.
Mhm.
Cold glue is a game changer. I am a huge fan.
Me too. Me too.
It's just there have been certain times when I've used it, and after I did, I went, hey, probably shouldn't have done that. Like I just locked something up or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
So it has to be used correctly for sure.
Yeah. But let
Yeah.
me tell you, with the cold glue, though, I mean, some of these guys, they're getting that pretty much getting the whole dent out with cold glue. I'm like, damn, and they just got a little bit of cleanup to do, and I'm like, damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
So
I like cold glue. I don't probably use it as much as I should. I use it more for finishing stuff than anything. But that's just that's just what I
for
tend to,
PDR,
yeah,
I'm
go
using
for.
cold glue as a finishing tool. 100%. Those
Hmm.
subtle lows
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the end, I mean, a cold glue just knocks it out way faster than any kind of pushing tip. So it's yeah,
Well, it
no, I
depends on how small it is. I mean, I noticed that when I use cold glue, the smaller it is, the harder it is to come out. So,
oh
yeah,
um,
sure.
but then again, I don't understand because sometimes I see guys use it on hail damage. I'm like, and they're getting it out. You know.
yeah. I've done that quite a bit.
It's you got to get the process just right. The
Hmm.
Actually,
temperature's just right.
I think Glenn actually did a few of those on hail with the cold glue, if I can remember. I think I've seen a video of his like that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I love my Dent Slayer AR9, the self-returning slide hammer
Hmm.
for hail dents on a rail. I mean, super fast, super like the tabs are just perfect size. So I've been really impressed with that slide hammer. Walked over
Yeah,
some shallow dents in my coworker stalls and popped them out and blew his mind. Now he's wanting more about glue pulling. Yeah, the cold glue, I've changed some minds just with cold glue alone. Especially the one you just got, Nick, the Cam Auto
yeah.
cold glue slide
Hmm.
hammer and tabs are amazing.
I
Really
might
powerful.
I might try some bigger stuff with cold glue since I have that
You
set
should.
up, because it's pretty nice.
I've
It
done
really is.
full body shop repairs with just cold glue.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Like
I know
d-
you can. It worked
Dog
very
legs
well.
and quarters. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll never forget the day I went to the grocery store. I had my cold glue set up, just sitting in my car, and
Uh-huh.
this lady had a dent. It was pretty caved in, and I told her, I said, "You want me to pop that out a little bit, make it look a little bit better?" You
What
know,
up, Corey?
how can you do that? You know, and this is when I first started because I wanted to test it out. You know,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and I went boom, and they went poop. I was like, "There you go." She gave me $100 right there. I
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't even
nice.
ask her to do it. You know, it's crazy. But yeah, so she's
Cam
so
Auto
happy.
rules.
Yeah, it does. Somebody's got a Formula One race going on back
Oh
there.
yeah, that's I hear that all the time. I'm very close to the road.
That was
hear
a straight
that.
up.
Yeah,
Right,
Somebody was having a good time
right.
they do that at like 2 in the morning sometimes.
or a bad
That
That
time.
and the rockets that go up. They shake my windows all the time. The rockets.
Oh
I
yeah.
get.
Oh, I'm jealous of that. I
I'm
am.
not.
It's
I
actually
I
annoying. I see it all the
I
time.
I listen to trains most of my life, and now I don't have to anymore, and I'm so glad.
No.
You'll have something. There'll be something.
Maybe, but it will not be a train horn. I guarantee
Okay,
it.
that's right. That's right.
Well,
No
listen,
more.
fellas. I'm pretty much gonna get going now because I'm getting tired
No,
and I'm
you're
an old
good,
man.
man.
I'm an old man, so
We've overrun our time here, so no, we
Yeah.
really appreciate you coming on, Bobby.
absolutely.
It's been fun. You know, you could
Yeah.
tell it's been fun when we go over an hour for sure.
Yes. I'll
Hmm.
definitely have to come back again sometime.
We
Sure.
would love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely.
Maybe once you get your podcast up and going, we can get on you again and talk about it or
Yeah,
something.
we'll promote it for
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's gonna be a while though, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right,
No
guys.
problem.
All right.
All
Have
You
a
have
right,
a
good
great
night,
night. All
man.
right. All
you
right, buddy.
too.
Bye, guys. Down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Take care. Many blessings. All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you. All right, Nick. Well, that
That's
was a
it.
great show.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Had some good discussions about a lot of different topics. So
A lot of
that's
commenters too, a lot of
good.
new viewers and everything. Really appreciate everybody coming on. Hope you hit that follow, like
Hmm.
button, whatever platform you're on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
big
And if
names
you're
in here too.
yeah, hit us up on. I see a lot of YouTubes coming through here, man. If you aren't over on YouTube and followed us and liked us or any of that stuff, man, go over there and hit that up too. It's always good to be on more than just one platform.
Thanks everyone. Really,
Appreciate it.
it's nice to see all these comments, you guys. Except for you, Steve.
Yeah, that's true.
Except for you, Steve. Same after Taco Bell. All right. Let's end it here.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.